Huge shout out to Drug TV for having me on. This is Berg from Medical Mondays. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for Drug TV, y'all.
Welcome back to My First Time, the show where our guests get to tell their story of the first time they got high on marijuana. I'm your host, Mike Freeman, and today I'd like to welcome our guest, Berg. What's happening?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. I'm not used to being the one being interviewed, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Switch it up a little, right? You can find more of Berg on Instagram and Twitter, and his podcast that he hosts, Medical Mondays. It's a great podcast. Got to check it out. It's a 2-hour podcast, so mostly on YouTube, but you can find all the other information on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So, Berg, if you could, for our audience, let everybody know where you're located and a little bit about what you provide to the cannabis world.
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, Detroit area. I'm Detroit, born and raised. Really, I fell into this. You know, I was just a stoner, you know what I mean, hanging out with other stoners and but when it became medical in Michigan, that's really when I amped it up and, got into, going to events and really that's how I fell into Medical Mondays. I'm not even the creator of Medical Mondays. One of my old friends, Olin Ezra, who used to run Tap Detroit, which was an internet radio station. And we were strictly audio for years, but I started off as just a guest on the show, and then he invited me back, and one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden I was a co-host, and then the host at the time had a little falling out with Olin, so I ended up taking it over, and that's when we got on YouTube and everything. So
Cool. And when was medical passed in Michigan?
2008, I believe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I definitely
Yeah,
want to get.
it's been going on, but it seems like it's going on in other states. Once recreational came into effect, they're they're just trying to, you know, put medical off to the side or either get rid of it altogether
Mm.
because, they want that profit. They want those tax dollars. So,
Yeah, which is one of the main reasons we don't see home grow in a lot of these states where it is legal.
yep,
Um,
for sure.
Berg, I know you're a wealth of information. I definitely want to get more into the podcast and some of the guests you've interviewed, but the show is my first time. So please take us back
For sure.
and tell us about the first time you got high. Was it in the Dirty D?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And actually, the first time I smoked, I didn't even get high, bro. Like, I'll be perfectly honest. I was like, what the
Pretty
fuck,
common.
Why is everybody so fucking, what's the big deal about this shit? But then the first real time I got high, bro, and it was in my friend's 78 Monte Carlo,
Okay.
and there was 4 of us, and we had 4 huge ass king size orange paper logs. This was like, back before they had thin papers and everything. But yeah, man, there was 4 of us and we lit up 4 logs, man. That was like, it was the total, half baked experience. You know how in the beginning where they're like moving in slow motion and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, it was totally that, man.
So did you have
But
your own
yeah,
joint, or were you guys passing around the joint?
we all, you know, threw in on it, and just rolled it all up. And,
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So I'm not trying to date you here, but it wasn't in 78. You were just in a 78 Monte Carlo.
No. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, all
This
right.
was probably like around 96.
Okay.
Because I was a late bloomer. I didn't give a, I didn't, I've never been a follower. And, a lot of my friends would always try to get me to fucking, drink and smoke and all that shit. I did it on my own accord, like when I was finally ready, that's when I did it. So, um, but yeah, once I really got high, I loved that shit. It was like I didn't never wanted to stop, and I haven't.
So it was like half baked. It became the fifth member of your crew, or
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
nice. What you smoking on now, Berg?
I'm currently smoking on some Hindu Skittles grown by Michigan Turp Farms, but then also I have some cherry lime runts
Nice,
that one of my sponsors grew for Medical Mondays. Chronic Illusions,
nice.
pretty
Shout out to
fire.
Illusions. Yeah, yeah. Now, what's your preferred method? Are you flower, concentrates, edibles, all the above?
Flower first, then dabs, then edibles.
Okay.
And typically, I don't really mess with edibles unless I'm at home because I don't want to be stuck couch locked somewhere.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh fuck, I need to get home.
Yeah, I'm the same way. We went to an expo recently down here. I did 375 milligrams, and I was able to drive home. But while I was there walking around, I was like, hungover ish.
Oh yeah, bro.
But
The most I did on the show one time was like
wow,
1400, and Roach did like double that or something. It was like a fruit roll up, and then he put distillate on it and rolled it up and ate it like sushi. It was insane.
how did that show come out?
Oh, bro, it was like at the end you could there's only pictures because at the time it was only audio, but I
Okay,
got a picture of him slumped over like his head's like bumped up to the mic. Like it's so hilarious, bro.
that's great. So how long has Medical Mondays been around? I know you said at first you were just a guest.
Yeah, man, I want to say it was right after Michigan went legal.
Okay,
I want to say around 2009. I'm not sure. Oh, no, actually, it was like it wasn't 2008. It was 2018. No, 2018 was when they went rec. So yeah, I want to say it was like 10 years before
okay,
medical went rec, but it was like right after medical was passed, and Olin originally hosted it, and then after Olin, it was Reinhardt, Johnny Reinhardt, and that's who brought me aboard.
nice.
And
Now you're
then
the
once
main
Johnny
host. You're
left,
a co-host.
yeah, I'm the main host. Roach is my co-host. I had to drag him in, like he didn't want to do it. Like I had to like force him. I was like, bro, I need you. I need you. I need because it's like I don't know. I always feel like I need someone to like bounce ideas off of.
Sure.
So uh, we've known each other since around fifth, sixth grade. So
Okay.
we definitely have that chemistry of being able to communicate.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, from the couple that I've watched, he's certainly a character as well. So, he
Definitely,
brings a little bit of edge to the show.
for sure.
Hey, everybody, I want to quickly mention Food Forest Abundance. Food Forest Abundance is a great way to create your own self sustaining food forest and naturally occurring ecosystem that's commonly found in nature, but designed specifically for you. Through multiple layers of trees, shrubs, herbs, vines, rhizomes, mushrooms, and perennial vegetables, you can become your own supply chain without the typical maintenance required of a garden. From small spaces to large areas, both urban and suburban, Food Forest Abundance wants us to get back to our roots in nature by engaging with our food production in a meaningful way. For more information, click on the link in the description below and start your journey today. Okay, let's get back to today's episode. What's that? Is that the Hindu runts, or are you on to the next one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's Hindu Skittles.
Hindu
Yeah,
skills. Yeah, yeah, nice. Now it's Medical Mondays is the name of the show. Is it all the guests typically have something to do with medical marijuana, or
yeah. Or I mean, we have been dabbling with you know, psychedelics too, since
hmm,
that's been coming up. It actually has been decriminalized in several cities in Michigan. We're trying to get it at the state level as far as all the um, psilocybin and natural occurring psychedelics. And shout out to Decriminalized Nature. They're all around the country. They have places. They have offices and people in every state. It seems trying to get this passed because I mean I personally microdose with mushrooms and it helps with my anxiety and depression and everybody sees me you know as a fun loving guy, always happy and stuff, but there's a whole nother side people don't see, and
yeah, yeah.
those shrooms helped me through that, man. So
Okay. Well, it's a crazy world we live in, so sometimes you gotta take the edge off somehow.
for sure.
What do you microdose? Like a quarter of a gram, or
They're point three caps,
okay,
and I'm taking two, so it's like more like point six.
okay,
Yeah. But yeah, I try to keep the dosage down. Um, I know people that fucking do a gram a day, up to 2 grams a day,
mm,
and they're totally, they built up the tolerance, so it doesn't really mess with them. But I mean, it's also fun. Like there's this event. Shout out to Big Club Farms. They just had an event over in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and Saturday was awesome. And I was smoking out, tripping on shrooms,
nice.
fucking great vibes, man. Great vibes.
Yeah, we recently interviewed Rick Anstis, so we saw he posted a shout out to you guys. That he said you guys always support what he does in Big Cloud Farm. So shout out to Rick as
Uh,
well,
yeah, big shout out to Rick, Mr. Fungi.
Mister
He's
Fun
part
Guy.
of Decriminalized Nature.
Okay,
So yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like the man. We were just at an event here in Florida, and someone was from Michigan, and I happened to mention we just interviewed Rick, and they're like, "You know Rick?" I'm like, "Doesn't everybody from Michigan know Rick?"
Right, right. Yeah, it was we had that experience, except it wasn't at a weed event. We had some people that we know on the internet. They ended up going on a what is it, Trailer Park Boys cruise.
Okay,
I guess they have a big ass cruise for the
okay,
Trailer Park Boys. But a couple of people that watched the show ended up he, one guy was watching it on his phone and he was like, "Oh man, I know those guys," and they ended up hanging out all the whole fucking trip. And
wow,
that's what I love. I love bringing people together, and I think that's one of the big reasons why fucking the government don't want it legalized is because, bro, we bring so many people together,
yeah,
like so many different people. Like me and Roach, we weren't always friends. Weed really brought us together. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say we were arch enemies, but we definitely didn't get along. You know what I mean?
right,
And it also opens your mind. Like before I smoked weed, like I was I was raised Catholic. You know what I mean? I was God fearing,
Hmm.
but it opened up my mind. It's like, if God is supposed to love all, he loves me no matter what the fuck I do, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else. So,
Right.
and I'm not a religious person whatsoever anymore. I'm more spiritual, but I'm just saying it
Yeah, yeah.
opens your mind.
100%. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think from the mind altering spirituality, euphoric feeling you get from it, as well as, the community aspect of it, uh, they definitely don't want that going on for sure.
Because I mean, it's some of these events, bro, and I hate to say it, but you'll straight up see like some fucking country boys hanging out with some black people that they would never fucking, it's like, bro, why can't we have this everywhere? Why can't we? Why are we not allowed to do this in public?
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's okay. Go hang out in front of a bar, in one of their fucking patios, get drunk as fuck, and then fight and create all kinds of damage. That doesn't happen with weed.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all.
So,
It's like, your typical meme of drunk guy comes home instead of or beats his wife, and stoner guy
so
comes home, passes out on the couch.
yep, yep. Now, every weed event that I've been to where there was altercation, there was alcohol involved. That was the factor that linked all those situations together. It was all alcohol, and that's why I don't really like going to cannabis events if they're serving alcohol. It it totally defeats the purpose as far as I'm concerned. I know alcoholics, and one of them. I mean, I hate to throw him under the bus, but I'm not really throwing him under the bus because he puts it out there. Darren McCarty from the Red Wings. He's a former Red Wing, four-time Stanley Cup champion. He advocates for cannabis now because it's helped him get off alcohol and opiates. And what is it for somebody, that's an alcoholic to go to a weed event or cannabis event and there be alcohol being served everywhere? That's, I don't know. And plus, there's the reverse, especially the people who drink that don't like weed. They're like, oh, oh, oh. Like, why can't we be like that with fucking alcohol?
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, I have a drink every now and again. I'm not like saying, oh, yeah, fuck all alcohol. You can have a good time, but it also fucks shit up, bro.
Yeah.
Weed don't do that. You get too high, you might find somebody out passed out on a couch. Like, oh man, you got to get going. Like, that's the worst thing that'll happen.
Yeah, we got the receipts, years worth of statistics on drunk driving accidents and domestic
Yeah,
assault, and maybe they don't have those statistics on weed, probably because they're wouldn't to file on a report. But
yeah.
um, Berg, of all the people,
One of the big things I hate about that is when there is a drunk driving accident and they have weed in their system, they gotta put it out there. They're like, oh yeah, this guy, he was like, 20 times over the legal limit of drinking, but he also had weed in his system. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's fucking ridiculous.
yeah, that's what I don't get with like the supposed fentanyl laced weed. Um, uh, you know, and then a couple years ago there was the big vape scare, and now certainly I know a lot of that was people kind of making their own oils, so who knows what was in it, but they definitely magnify the stories of uh, fentanyl laced weed killing people. And the only thing I used to know a cop. I would ask a cop. I knew a chemist. I asked a chemist. I'm assuming it's just the handling of it that's getting fentanyl on it. I don't understand
Yeah,
how or why someone's lacing weed with fentanyl. You're killing your customer.
yeah. I mean, really, we've never ran into it up here. I've heard it happening in like southern states and everything, but when it comes to an actual news article or like situation where it's been documented, I haven't seen one myself.
Hmm.
And I think there's a lot of scare, like the fucking candy in Halloween, bro. It's like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
there has never been an instance where a kid has found a fucking razor blade in a
Right.
Snickers.
Yeah.
Not one documented fucking case,
Yeah.
but yet there's always had that scare has always been out there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Scare tactics and propaganda. They want you to be afraid.
Yep.
Justifies their existence and all the control and power that they have.
There's this guy we know, Morganja Farms. He raises wild. Well, they're not really wild hogs since he's raising them, but and he grows as well. And he feeds the hogs the biomass, and the hogs till the ground, and it's like almost like a whole little ecosystem
Hmm.
he has set up there, and it's awesome. The pork from that shit is awesome. It's not like you get high or anything because
Right. Right.
it's only the
Right.
cannabinoids
Right.
that you're eating. But we just talked about an article last night on well, not last night, the night before on Medical Mondays, um, where they're trying to do scare tactics with that. They're like, like, oh, we don't know how much trace THC amounts will be in our food or milk and da 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 da. And bro, it's total trash. The whole article is just bogus, man. Like
Yeah. They've
there's people still out there thinking that you can like literally die from overdosing on weed.
it's true.
Like, no. Yeah, I mean, bro,
Yeah.
Adam L. Brook. Shout out to Mr. Hash Bash. He's on Medical Mondays too. He's as an additional panel member since we've had to go to over to Zoom. But and it's fucked up to say, but he says it. I'm repeating him, so don't blame me, people. Is there's there's a few more generations that need to die. You know what I mean? Like to get this out of our fucking society, to get that stigma society. There's people in Congress that have been in Congress for fucking 40 years
Hmm.
that have they were fucking they were in Congress like when fucking horrible shit was still going on legally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Segregation, all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I, it doesn't make sense to me. But, but
Yeah. That's an interesting point. The octogenarians, I guess, the 80 plus and those 70-ish plus too, probably. Yeah, they unfortunately it's only a matter of time, but it is that generation that still has this idea of drug use and all the crazy propaganda that and
it's all that reefer madness. It
yeah,
was drilled into them, bro. You know, I don't blame them. I
right.
don't blame them. I blame society. I blame our government. I blame the man.
Well, I mean that's I'm in Florida, and I know DeSantis isn't a big fan of cannabis, and people shit on DeSantis, and I don't care. You can shit on
Yeah.
whoever you want, but Biden could sign an executive order today, make it legal across the board. That doesn't mean each state's going to comply, but at least all the, all the banking systems that cannabis companies don't have access to right now, the scheduling, all that could change. He can do that today, right now. And you'd
Bro,
think
he
with the
could
elections that just happened, he would have done
he could
something.
deschedule it and
Absolutely.
change everything. That's all he would have to do. That's all he would have to do. I mean, there's all this safe banking, da 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 da. Don't even need to do all that. All he has to do is deschedule it. Like, take it off there. There's no reason why it should be on there. There's no, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, and then they're coming up with all these new ways to make money off of people. They got this one. It's a supposed drug for people that are hooked on marijuana. So they're trying
Wow.
to fucking sell it. Yeah, bro. Like, it's just like however they can make it, they're gonna make it.
Is it like an SSRI for marijuana?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I wonder if it's like a cannabinoid blocker or something.
I know that. I don't know. We didn't, I mean, we discussed it, but we didn't like, we don't know exactly what it does.
Maybe the manufacturer will release the info on it in like 75 years or something. Will be.
Right, right. It's crazy, man. I mean,
Maybe.
and then it's like, all these companies are trying to create, THC synthetically and shit, and that blows my mind too.
Mm. Yeah, I think in the not too distant future, maybe 5, 10 years, we may go into a dispensary and say my back hurts. This fell last week, and sometimes I got pain in this tooth, and maybe
Yep,
they
yep.
you need a little bit of HHC. Here's a little bit of this,
Oh
and
yeah. I mean, I hope so, but I, so many countries are way ahead of us as far as cannabis research goes. Like, I want to say Israel is like 15 years ahead of us. They've been
wow.
doing this shit for fucking years, bro. Like, they know so much. I mean, all the stuff that we find out about cannabis, 9 times out of 10 are countries outside the US.
Mm,
And I bet you the US has the most, well, I wouldn't say the most, but a big concentration of cannabis users. You know what I mean?
mm, for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of research that universities have done around the country that, the country, our government won't even fucking look at because it's a Schedule One narcotic. Brr, 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 brr. There's no medical use for it.
Yeah, it's like the upside down world. Hopefully, I mean, it doesn't seem like we're heading in that direction. I think a big drastic change would need to occur for us to really see something happen. And who knows what that landscape looks like. But
No, one of the things that we're fighting for here in Michigan, and we're going to continue to fight for, is our medical program, man. Like, whether people want to fucking admit it or not, every time you use cannabis, you're using it medically. You know what I mean? You're either it's fucking for a pain or a fucking pain in your head. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, it's to ease that, it's, bro, like, it's, and since rec has went legal in Michigan, a lot of people have like not renewed their cards and all this shit. And then we had the whole, I mean, I'm sure you heard about it, but we had that boycott up here from the MCMA, and all that shit happened. And um pretty much now the MCMA is disbanded. Like, they're not even trying to fucking push anything through as a group. But we got all these corporate entities going at counties and cities at the local level, talking to their politicians, saying, "Oh, you need to put more restrictions on home grows and da 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 da." I want to say there was a couple places they put it up on like city council to vote on, was you had to have up to 5 acres of land in order to grow in your house. Like
Nonsense.
word? Like word? I mean, I could throw a fucking tent in my fucking
Yeah.
in my
In the bedroom.
closet if I wanted,
Yeah.
but yeah, gotta have 5 acres. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. 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 That's part of the problem too, is regulation. Maybe we need some form, right? But it shouldn't be the corporations the one dictating what those regulations
Oh,
are.
not
But
at
most of our
all.
politicians are ignorant and uneducated. So, I mean, that's what we're relying
Definitely.
on, you know?
Yeah. There are some politicians up here that aren't too shy about, their cannabis use and everything, but I'd like to have like a real sesh. Like, get these motherfuckers high and be like, come on, bro. Are you for real?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't, you know,
Need to lock them in a meeting room and hotbox it or something, get some
yeah, yeah.
city
Bro,
commission.
I used to say that on Medical Mondays, like, well, back when dabs were like fucking like becoming a big thing here and everybody's getting rigs and shit. Well, I was saying we need to make like a dab bomb and like somehow like throw it into a fucking room and have it explode like a gas grenade or something and just close all the doors and get Congress high as fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like the How High movie when they all eat the brownies there.
Yeah. Yep. From the truck. Yep. Yep.
Well, Berg, we've got a couple minutes left, so I appreciate you being an awesome guest. Please tell everybody the best place that they can find you.
I'm mostly on Instagram, y'all. Berg.313. And I got Berg313. And then I have another backup too because I have so many haters. They always report my shit. For a minute, dispensary owners were going at like telling their employees to go report my accounts and everything.
Wow.
I have screenshots and everything.
Wow. Well, I usually say shout outs to the haters because it means you're doing something right if you got some haters, but uh
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and also, everybody needs to go subscribe to Medical Mondays podcast on YouTube. Can't forget the podcast. If you just put Medical Mondays, all kinds of shit will pop up.
and we'll have the links down below to your Linktree Berg so everybody can follow you as well as Medical Mondays. And
Awesome.
if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go down there and smash the like button for Berg and subscribe and share this with a friend if you enjoyed this episode, because that's how we get great guests like this. So, Berg, I appreciate it, my friend.
Appreciate you, man.
And as always, smoke them if you got them. What's up, Dro TV family? You can now stream the audio version of all these episodes on your favorite podcast player. And if you like more episodes like this, check out this playlist we put together over here for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't want to miss more great content from Dro TV. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, smoke them if you got them.